Okay, YouTubers, so next we need to go ahead and install the liquid cooling system. But in order to do that, we have to remove this fan that's sitting up on top here. So what we're going to do to go ahead and remove that is we're going to pop this cover off. Alright, it just pops right off. It's only held in by these little brackets right here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take that, set that aside because we're going to need that later. And then we've got this fan right here, and it's just held in by 4 cross tip screws. So we'll go ahead and take those out. And then of course we are going to put this fan back in, so just remember how it goes in. Remember how your airflow is. And if you'll recall, we can figure that out by looking at the sides of the fan where the arrows are, so we know what the airflow looks like. Okay. Okay, so we went ahead and got that. Alright, so if we look at this, there should be some kind of arrow somewhere. Of course, now this fan is going to make a liar out of me. Alright, well, either way, yep, I'm probably just not seeing it, maybe I'm blind. Alright, well, either way, remember that it goes in like this. See, that's why we take pictures, right? Make videos so that we can go back and say, how was that installed? Oh yeah, like that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and flip the case back on its side, and we'll go ahead and install the liquid cooler. Okay, YouTubers, we're going to go ahead and install the liquid cooling system. So, I know that people have different ways of installing this. Me personally, I say go ahead and install the bigger part. That way, if you try to install the smaller part, like the pump, and the bigger part's flapping around, it doesn't get in your way. Because see, otherwise you're trying to get this doesn't work. So, we'll just kind of put this in here like so, get these cables so they're not bouncing around. Then we'll take this and set it somewhere where it doesn't hurt anybody. Right there is a good spot. Alright, and then what we're going to do is go ahead and very, very gently figure out how we want this to fit in here. Okay? So there we go. Keep you out of the way. There you go. Alright, so we look at this and we notice that we've got alignment screws in the back here. Or mounting screws, rather, mounting holes. And we can see where it lines up. And then once you get one, go ahead and throw that in there. Get the screw with the washer set. And then just kind of tack that in. There we go. Okay, so get one started on that side. Get one started over here. Oh, there's the fan. Now you see why we took it out, right? Because you can't get to this with the fan installed. There we go. There you are. Alright. Alright. We're just kind of putting those in just a little bit. We're not tightening them down yet. There we go. There we go. Alright. So we're not going to tighten that down just yet. We're just getting it to sit in there. There we go. Okay, so you got it started, just kind of screw it down a little bit. Now the reason you don't want to tighten these all the way down is that if you do and you don't have it aligned properly, then you're not going to be able to align it properly with them all the way tight. So you put them in there kind of loose. There we go. Then you just make sure that there's no other leftover brackets. Now this particular cooling device or radiator has 8 mounting points, but this tower only has 4 mounting points. So just get the just hit the important spots and you'll be okay. Alright. So we'll go ahead and start tightening this down because now it's in place right where we want it. And then again, like with all these components, tighten it down but don't torque it down. Just get it in there nice and snug so it doesn't vibrate around. And if you do it too tight, you'll never be able to get these out without stripping the screws. And then what is the point? There we go. Let me double check that one. Yep, good to go. Alright, so now that we've got all that, these will plug in to a Y connector that will go into the cooler or to the pump. So we'll just set that off to the side for now. Alright, this again, this will be our power for the pump. And then this is what we're going to put on the processor like that. Okay, now this pump already comes pre-installed with the thermal paste. If it didn't, you would just put a small dab of this on here. And then less is more on this one, okay? So you don't want to put a lot of paste on here. And actually you don't put it even on here, you put it on your processor. Alright, and I've seen people where they just put a dab on it and then let the pump smooth it out, or I've seen also people, you know, put it on with like a tongue depressor type of thing, you know, a lollipop stick, you know, frozen pop, you know what I'm talking about, you know, put that on there, and then that's fine too. Either way you do it, you just want to make sure 2 things. One, that the paste doesn't go outside of the processor. You don't want any of that getting around. And then the second thing is you don't want to put it on thick. You want it to be nice and thin, because if it's thick, then that can actually hurt your ability to have it disperse the heat. Okay, so we're going to do that. Alright, this is the mounting bracket. And in order to put this on, we are actually going to have to take this off. So we'll just put this on for a moment. Now we'll go ahead and take the plastic cover off. And if you'll notice, the mounting bracket is magnetic. It just snaps right into place. Okay. So then we've already decided that we're going to have it on this way. So very carefully. And then this is important because once you've put this on here, if you don't install it correctly, then you have to put more paste on it. Okay, you have to wipe off all the old paste and put new paste on. So that's why it's important to get this right the first time around. Okay, there we go. And there we go. And I can feel that paste underneath. I can feel it slipping and sliding around in there. So be careful of that. Alright, we're going to get our little screws on here. That's why it's important to have everything ready to go. Oh, see, and we're already dropping stuff. We'll get that in a minute. We just want to tack this down so it doesn't go everywhere. Alright, there we go. And then you can get that piece out. That was a big fail. No, that's alright. Ended up here in the side of the case. There we go. See, that's what I meant about having big fat fingers. That's why I wanted to put those little standoff screws in before we put the RAM in. See, because I know myself. See, you got to know yourself when you're putting these things together. You got to know what your abilities are and what your limitations are. That way you can say, oh, okay, I know I'm going to drop something, so I need to make sure that I prepare that in such a way that if I do drop it, then I'm not going to cause a problem. later on. Something that I'm not going to be able to fix. Okay. Alright, so I didn't tighten these down just yet. I'm just going to kind of even this out a little bit. Make this look good. Alright. Alright. Looks good. Looks like it's in there real nice. Okay. Alright, now yeah, I am going to use a screwdriver. I am going to turn it very slowly. I'm not torquing this down, I'm just tightening it. Okay? I don't want to crush anything in here. That's not the plan, you know? Just nice and even all the way around. I'm not even putting any real pressure behind it, okay? You don't want this to be really tight. I mean, the whole point of it is to be hand tight, but I just don't have the access to it because my fat fingers. Alright. Okay. Just make sure it's secured. It is secured. And I do believe this comes off. Nice. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and plug in power for this thing. And in order to do that, there's a couple of things you need. You need to get this USB cable out, and that's going to supply USB to the pump, so it can be controlled that way. I would imagine, at least that was one of the buying features, so we'll see. Or monitor the health or whatever it does. So we just go ahead and plug this into the pump on the side here. There's a USB plug-in over here somewhere, I'm sure. There it is. Okay, so we'll just slide that in. Click. Actually, it doesn't click. I made that up. Alright, and then this plugs into any of your standard USB ports that are on your motherboard. So we'll just take this one down here because right now I don't have anything plugged into it. Alright, and the way you know that it goes is that there's a pin, an empty pin on there, so you just know to plug it into that empty pin, or how to align it based on that. Okay, next we need to plug the pump into power for the fans. Okay, so we're going to take our this power plug right here. Okay, and that one's going to plug into where we have CPU fan. Okay, and it's got a little notch here so that you know how to plug it in. Alright, and if you can see it, if you can't, I'm going to get some of these cables out of the way. This is always the hard part. Here we go. Alright, get that out of the way, and we'll do something with that later. Alright, next, what we're going to do is we need the Y cable to go ahead and plug these in. And here we go right here. If yours comes with little plastic protectors like mine did, they're on here thusly. You can go ahead and just slide those off. Okay, they're just there to protect the pins. Okay, alright. Then what you do is you go ahead and line these up and line this up, and then just plug them in. They have the same style notches as the one you just plugged in, and those just slide together. Bam. There you go. There you go. Alright, and then these plug in up here to the top of your pump. So we'll go ahead and get that set up. I think it's this one. There we go. Just make sure that's nice and in there. It locks in place anyway. You'll hear a little click when you know you've got it. You just want to make sure it's settled in properly. There you go. Okay, so now it's all hooked into power. And don't worry about these cables. We'll do something with these later. Like I said, we'll make sure all this is all tied off, taped up, or whatever, and so it's out of the way of the fans and everything. Okay, so that's not a problem. For now though, we'll just leave everything hang. That way as we hook more things in, we can figure out which way we want to route things, and we may be unplugging and replugging in stuff as we go. So just keep in mind that things change. Also, because I don't have my thermal fan controller thingamajigger in yet, you know, things might change later for the cable tying and the setup in here. Okay, so don't worry about that. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and hook the fan back in, and then we'll move forward. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and throw this fan back on here. Now, if you don't remember how we put it on there, once again, we recorded it. So, I spent some time looking around for arrows on this, and it just doesn't have it. So, or at least none that I could see. So either the manufacturer would assume that you know which way it goes based on sort of the angle and sort of how the fan blades are put on, or they just didn't care enough to throw that on there, and then that's fine. Again, just, you know, if you have a question about it, I'm sure if you talk to the manufacturer, they'll be more than happy to tell you. I'm just really surprised that this doesn't have it on there. So whatever, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and put these on. Just realign it. Again, you're not going to tighten it down right away. Just make sure it's on there so that you can get the screws in. That way, if you don't have it aligned like this one, there you go, you'll be able to find that hole. Because if that was tightened all the way down, we'd never be able to get that to slide around to find the holes. Okay. Okay. Get these on there. Alright, and then since that's the last one, and again, we're not tightening these down like uber torque. We're just getting them tight enough so that it doesn't vibrate and shake around. And then just once more, just give it a little bit of a nudge. There you go. Okay, so there we are. We got our cooling system in place. We got our fan back on. And what I'm thinking of doing is we'll go ahead and hook up this fan to the motherboard. We'll install the fan at the bottom. And I just said this fan, and you can barely see that one. And I said the fan at the bottom. But what I meant is the one at the bottom of the case. And we'll go ahead and throw that in there before things start getting too crowded inside of our case here. Okay, YouTubers, so we're going to go ahead and install this fan right here in the bottom of the case and this point on the inside. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this thing up. I'm not going to do a big deal opening on this one. I think this fan cost a couple of bucks. Not a big expense. Alright, just a standard case fan. Comes with a plug-in, hardware. Looks like, is that an extension or an adapter? Yes. Purple. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and throw this in here. Now, in order to get access to this and be able to screw it in, we're going to have to go ahead and remove the dust filter here. Okay, you don't have to pull it all the way out because these things can be kind of a pain to get back in. So just pull it out far enough so that you have access to this area right here. Alright, and then this comes with the smaller screws, which is handy to have because that's exactly what we need. Okay, so it's just a question of knowing your stuff and what you need to have to do the things that you need to do, if that makes sense. Alright, so what do we end up with here? We got... Actually, it looks like it comes with these little rubber plugs too. That's pretty convenient. I wonder if we might want to try to use those instead, because that's pretty darn convenient right there. You know, I don't know. Yeah, let's see how it looks either way. See which way we want to go ahead and do this. I'm pretty much a let's screw it in and make sure it's secured kind of a guy, unless these are meant to be the like some kind of backing plug. It says the new Silent Series R2 fans are equipped with high performance hydraulic bearings, enhancing both fan performance and expected lifespan. The included rubber screws allow for mechanical decoupling from the case itself, reducing vibrations and decreasing the noise level. Interesting. So, you know, maybe we will do it that way, because we don't want noise. That noise is bad. So let's take a look at this. Maybe we can mount it that way. Let's do that. And if we're wrong, well, what have we lost but a little bit of time? Alright, so again, we're looking for the arrows. We want this to be an intake, so we want the airflow to go this way. They don't really care which way the blades are going, but they'll spin this way. And we want the airflow that way. So this question now of figuring out, how do I want this cable? Well, seeing as everything else is going this way, but my power supply cables are right there. So we're going to put it this way so that the cable runs along the backside this way. Okay, so it doesn't get in the way of my power supply cables. Okay, so let's see how this hooks in. I'm not a normal user of these rubber plugs, so let's see what we've got here. I guess that's it. So it looks like they just pull through. Pretty easy to install, actually, until we get to the back side, I'm sure. I know I'm blocking the camera, sorry. There we go. Alright, well, that actually might work. We'll try that out. We'll try that out, and if that ends up working for us, then we'll leave it there. If not, we've got the screws. We can always use those. Okay? So, let's see. I mean, it's at the bottom of the case, so it's not in a particularly difficult spot to get to, should this end up not working. And that's really it, huh? Okay, that's not too bad. It's not really that hard to install. Here I was thinking I was going to have to screw. I even got my screwdriver out. You see what I mean? Alright. Alright, yeah, you know what? I don't think that's going to make any noise at all. And for a bottom of the case fan, that's actually pretty good. So, there we go. Now, where do we plug it into? There should be system fan plugs all over your case. In my case, all over your motherboard. And for me, I've got one right here. So I'm going to probably use that one. But I want to go ahead and look around a little bit in here, because I know this fan is going to get plugged in right here behind these RAM. I know that my center fan is probably going to get plugged in probably over here to this one. Then I have a fan in front here, and that one I was thinking of plugging in right here. So we'll just have to look and see where the other plugs are. I know I've got another one up top here, but I was going to reserve that one for an additional fan here, which I haven't purchased yet. and I may or may not need. So we'll see what I've got going on, and I'll go ahead and get those plugged in, probably off camera. You don't need me to see me fiddling around with those. Just know that they plug in the same way as the cooling fan power did, or cooling fan, the liquid cooling pump power did. So that's not an issue. And then once you've got it all installed, just go ahead and slide that back over. Bam. And there you go. Okay, YouTubers. So we're going to do some openings real quick. We're going to go ahead and open up our hard drives so that we can get those installed. And there we go. Knife. Alright, so this is the solid state drive. It's a 512 gigabyte made by Crucial. So let's go ahead and cut the factory seal on this bad boy. There we go. There we go. And cut. Awesome. Alright, let's see what we got in the box. We've got registration key, product activation. Okay, well, I'm guessing that's important, so we're going to hang on to that. Let's see, we've got some kind of a mounting or protection or something bracket. Looks like it has maybe some kind of, I don't know if that's a peel away for adhesive or something. This thing didn't come with any directions, did it? It's called a 7mm to 9.5mm spacer. And that's about it. Alright, so it doesn't come with any mounting hardware. It says, observe precautions for handling electrostatic sensitive devices. Well, that's true. You should always do that. I don't happen to have a grounding strap handy, so we're going to go ahead and just nick that a little bit. Looks like it'll come free. There we go. And we'll just take a look at this thing. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Alright, well, it's a good thing my case came with a lot of extra screws, so we should be able to mount this with no issues at all. So, well, shame on you, Crucial, for not providing mounting screws for your own hardware. I mean, really? You know, that's already a negative in my book. How do you provide something and not provide mounting hardware? Alright, well, whatever. I guess maybe that's why it was, you know, a little less expensive than some of the other ones. Actually, this wasn't less expensive. Okay, never mind. Don't see the trade-off there. I don't see the trade-off. Alright, let's go ahead and open the Toshiba hard drive now. So, whereas this solid state was a 512, this is an actual hard drive with the 5 terabytes on it. So let's see what we've got here. We're just going to cut the little thingy here, cut it there. And I've had a lot of good luck and success with Toshiba in the past. You know, I know a lot of people have said, oh, this is dead on arrival and all that. But you know, if you've ever got something that's dead on arrival, then just, you know, return it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's, I don't know, for me that's not even that hard to figure that one out. But, you know, people get all upset and like, okay. Oh, okay, look, this comes really well packed. Okay, awesome. I'm going to throw that box off to the side. Look at this. That's what I'm talking about. I bet it doesn't come with any hardware though. Alright, limited warranty. Alright, that's just their legal speak. There we go. Nope, no mounting hardware. Maybe that's the standard these days. Interesting. Wow, this thing is heavy. Alright, let's go ahead and cut the end off of that. Oh, you know what? I don't have to cut it. It has directions on it. It says tear here. See? Tear here. If I would just read, right? Look at that. Tear here. Alright. Wow. That is something else. Something else. There you go. It's big. It's thick. It's heavy. It's a hard drive. Why is it called a hard drive? Because it's hard. We will build this computer not because it is easy, but because it is hard. That was a Kennedy impression in case anybody was wondering. Alright, good enough. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and see what kind of mounting hardware I need to make this fit. Since neither one of these two came on with the hardware, and since they didn't, we're going to have to figure that one out. Okay, let's go get these things installed. Okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and put in our solid state into the tray first. Alright, first thing you'll notice is that when we're going to put this in, you want to make sure that this part is towards the wherever your cables are going to go for power, for reading or whatever. And then, and I know that my tray goes into the tower this way. My cables are going to come in from this side. The other thing you want to take note of is where your mounting screw holes are. Okay? Once you've determined that, you'll be able to figure out where this goes. Now I got a little thing here. There's this piece of plastic here, another bracket for mounting, that I'm not going to use. I'm not going to need it. It's just in the way. So I'm just going to pop that right out. Okay? And I'll put this in my drawer with the rest of the hardware I'm not using. Okay? But I'm going to leave the little rubber grommets in there. I figure it can't hurt, and it might even help. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my hard drive or my solid state. I'm going to throw that in there, and I'm going to take a look at it from the other underside. And I need to figure out where these holes line up. Okay, so the good news is everything lines up the right way, and I've got plenty of access for my plugs. So I'm going to go ahead and start dropping my screws in here. Okay, and again, I'm not tightening it down right away. We're just dropping it in just enough so that we can get these started. There we go. And then, oh. This one wants to be difficult. There it goes. If you got a difficult screw, don't get angry. Just you know, look and see what his problem is, so you can help him out. You know, get him to where you'd like to go. All right, I'm going to throw that one in there. All right, now we can go ahead and see. Looks like the alignment is good. Everything's good. We're solid. Alright, let's go ahead and tighten these in. Again, you're not torquing it down, you're just getting it snug. Okay, there we go. Just snug. Okay. Okay. See, the big thing you gotta keep in mind is this doesn't have to worry about vibration or anything like that because it's non-moving, it's solid state. So you just get it in there, get it to where it doesn't move around, make sure that it's mounted properly, and this one's going to be fine. So we're going to set that aside. Alright, next one we're going to do is going to be this hard drive. The actual moving one. Alright, so same principles apply. as we look at this one. We know that we want the connectors to be back here, and that's these connectors right here. We know that the mounting is going to happen right here. Okay, so when we set this down, I'm going to set it down like this. Now here's the cool thing. With this particular hard drive, these mounting positions actually are in the right spot, but we need to take them out nevertheless and then pop them back in place when we do need them. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what the best way to mount this is, because we have options. And options are always good. So it looks like we have two holes that line up here, so that's good. We have the holes that line up on the sides here, and then we have the holes here. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of lining up with these holes, and this holes, and then the plastic will hold in the rest. So that's what we'll end up mounting it with. Okay? So let's see here. Alright, that locks in. Then this one on this side locks in. Okay? So that's going to hold it down now while we get our screws in place. So there's a screw hole here, and we'll go ahead and get that put in place. Again, not tightening down, just getting it in there, getting it snug so that we can move it around. It would help if I could actually get this to stay on here. Alright. Alright, just snug. And then we've got the two down here. Now that might be a little bit overkill, but I'm here to tell you that this thing's probably going to move around and vibrate and all kinds of stuff because it's big, it's fast, and big and fast means lots of movement. So there's nothing that says that we don't put these screws here, but there's a lot of reasons to put them here. So, alright, so now we got all the necessary screws in that we want. So let's go ahead and start tightening these down. And I don't know why that one didn't want to go in. Maybe I got to tighten this one down first. Or maybe it doesn't want to mount on these. That one's fine. Huh. Doesn't seem to want to mount on the bottom. Alright. Well, plan B. The sides it is. If it doesn't want to mount, don't force it, right? So we'll save those screws for a later time. Alright, but these are mounting just fine, so no issues there. There we go. Yeah, just making sure. I don't know, it seems kind of loose. It's getting more firm. Let's see, maybe it's on this side. Oh yeah. Still kind of loose. I don't really like that. Let's see if we can put a little bit more on that one. Still got a lot of play in it. You know, I think I want to try this again with this screw here. See if maybe that'll firm it up a little bit. Well, it just doesn't want to seem to catch. Okay. Well, I'll look at it later and see what I can throw on there. And actually, we might be okay. It may not be a problem. Although I don't generally like things that move around. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, well, I'll take a look at it and maybe I'll throw some different screws on there. I've got a couple of them that I can choose from. So we'll go ahead and keep mounting stuff and we'll see what else we can throw in here. Okay, YouTubers, let's go ahead and throw these hard drives in here. Okay, well, actually don't throw them in there, that would be bad. But anyway, we already know how they came out, so we're going to mount them the same way that they came out. Alright, they hit the little trays. Alright, it's just going to slide right in. That's going to come down and lock in place. That is it. Okay, same thing here. Go ahead and slide that in. Lock that down. There you go. That's it. And then of course on the back side we'll go ahead and connect power and everything later. And incidentally, I ended up going with a different kind of screw for this hard drive, just because it seemed to fit better and there's no vibrations now. So, or not vibration, but there's no movement, so there shouldn't be any vibration. But yeah, like I said, we'll hook up all the SATA cables and the power and everything later through here. And I was just realizing that I'm probably going to have an issue doing that, so this fan may have to come back out again before we can connect power, which is fine because remember it was just the rubber grommet screw thingies that were real easy to pop in and out, so this shouldn't be an issue at all. And then also when we do power, we'll get our pump hooked into power as well. So there's a lot of things that we still have yet to do, so we're not, by no means even close to being done. But I'm thinking next we'll go ahead and get our graphics card in there. That way we'll know where we can start routing all of our power cables and such. Yeah, and then also these cables, because there's a lot of them back here that go to the top of the tower. Okay, so we'll see you when we open up the graphics card.